All right, we're going to jump into a really fascinating thought experiment today. What if Jeff Bezos, the guy behind Amazon, had to start all over again, but with just $1,000 to his name? How would he even do it? We're going to break down his core principles into a kind of blueprint, really, for anyone looking to build something amazing on a shoestring budget. Let's get right into it. So this is the big question, right? This is what sets the whole thing up. I want you to just imagine one of the most successful entrepreneurs on the entire planet, totally stripped of all his resources, his connections, his whole empire. What if he had to start from absolute zero, right here, right now, in today's world? With just this?
$1,000, that's it. Now, that's not just a limitation, you see, it's a filter. It's a constraint that forces you to be creative, to be incredibly resourceful, and to focus only on what truly matters. So how would he do it? Well, the whole blueprint really breaks down into 3 simple phases.
Okay, first up, phase 1, laying the foundation. And here's the key. The most critical work, the most important stuff, happens before you even think about spending a single dime of that $1,000. This is all about building a rock-solid base that costs you nothing but your time and your attention. And it all kicks off with one core idea: customer obsession. And no, this isn't just some buzzword you hear in business school. It is the absolute non-negotiable first principle. It means you don't start with your brilliant idea for a product. Nope. You start by getting a deep, almost obsessive understanding of a customer's real problem. You work backwards from what they need, not forwards from what you can build.
So how in the world do you do this with zero budget? Well, you basically become a digital anthropologist. You embed yourself in the niche forums, the subreddits, the Facebook groups where your potential customers are already hanging out. You use free tools, like Google Forms, to run simple surveys. And most importantly, you just listen. You shut up and listen. You pay attention to the complaints, the frustrations, and the exact words people are using to describe what's driving them crazy.
And that's the whole point of this phase. Your goal is to find a genuine, nagging pain point. We all have cool ideas, right? But cool ideas don't get people to actually pull out their wallets. You know what does? Solving a painful problem. This whole research phase is about validating that the pain is real before you spend a single dollar or write a single line of code.
All right, on to phase 2, the frugal launch. This is where that $1,000 budget finally starts to come into play, and it's where being resourceful turns your biggest limitation into your greatest strength.
The key concept here is something called the minimum viable product, or MVP. Now, this is not your grand, feature-packed dream product, not even close. It is the absolute bare-bones version of your product that solves that one core pain point you found in phase 1, and nothing else. The goal isn't perfection. It's all about speed and learning. It's about getting something, anything, into the hands of real users as fast as humanly possible.
And this really shows you the massive difference in mindset. A traditional launch is this big, expensive event after months of secret development. It's a huge gamble. The Bezos blueprint is the total opposite. It's a fast, lean, public process of learning and tweaking, all done with a tiny budget and some really scrappy, resourceful marketing.
So what does that resourceful marketing even look like? Well, it's definitely not about Super Bowl ads, I'll tell you that. It's about creating genuinely useful content, a blog, social media posts that actually helps your target customer. It's about personally reaching out to those people you found back in the forums. It means becoming a real, valuable member of their community, and then leveraging the powerful social proof from your very first happy customers.
Now we're at phase 3, igniting the flywheel. This is where things get really interesting. This is where you shift from a one-time launch to building a system of sustainable, long-term growth that actually starts to feed on itself.
This quote just nails it. A launch is a single moment, a flash in the pan. A flywheel, on the other hand, is a process that, once you get it spinning, just starts gaining its own momentum. It gets harder and harder to stop.
So let's look at how this cycle actually works. It all starts with a great customer experience, which you deliver with that simple MVP. That great experience then leads to word of mouth and buzz, which drives more traffic. More traffic, of course, brings you more customers, which gives you more data and more feedback. And then you use that data to improve the product, which in turn creates an even better customer experience, and suddenly the wheel starts spinning faster and faster.
And that's why that customer obsession from phase 1 is so critical through this whole process. Every single piece of feedback, the good, the bad, the ugly, it's not a distraction. It's the fuel. It's literally the energy you feed into this system to make that flywheel spin faster and accelerate your growth.
So let's bring all this together into your blueprint. Because while we started this whole thing with the $1,000 constraint, the real takeaway, the big lesson,
is that the right mindset is infinitely more valuable than the money.
These are really the 4 pillars of the whole thing. 1. Be customer obsessed. Always start with them and work backwards. 2. Practice frugality as an advantage. See it as a creative force, not a weakness. 3. Focus on building a self-reinforcing flywheel, not just a one-off launch. And finally, you tie it all together with this, a day one mindset.
So what is a day one mindset? It's the philosophy that underpins everything. It's the core belief that it is always the beginning. You're always a startup. You are always hungry. You are always inventing. And you are always terrified of getting lazy and complacent. It's a culture that keeps you lean and agile, no matter how successful you might become. It's the ultimate weapon against stagnation.
And that really brings us to the end. You know, the principles themselves, they aren't that complicated. It's all about focus, discipline, and a relentless dedication to the customer. The blueprint is simple. The only real question left is, what will you build?